So we need to put the equation of the hyperbola into standard form. So a hyperbola in standard form would be x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. And that's for a hyperbola centered at hk. So let's get this into standard forms. That means we have to complete the square on the x's and complete the square on the y's. So we'll factor the 9 off of the x terms. So off of these two x terms. So we have 9 times x squared plus 4x, and then we'll leave some space here. And now we'll factor the negative 16 off of the y terms. So if I factor a negative 16 off, I have negative 16 times y squared, and then I'll have a minus here, minus 16y. And then we leave a little space, and that equals the 1132. So let's go ahead and complete the square. So on the x's, we take 1/2 times 4 and square that. So 2 squared is 4, and we get 4. So I'm going to put a plus 4 here. And then on the y terms, we have negative 16 times 1/2 squared. So that's negative 8 squared, or 64. So I'm going to add 64 here. But by entering the 4 and the 64, I didn't just add 4 and 64. On the left, I have 9 times 4, or 36. So I have to add 36 on the right. And then for the y's, I have negative 16 times 64. Negative 16 times 64, that would be negative 1024. So I have to add negative 1024 to the right, since I added negative 1024 to the left by this multiplying negative 16 times 64. Well, what does that give us then? That gives us 9 times x plus 2 times x plus 2 minus 16 times y minus 8 times y minus 8. And on the right, 144. So we completed the square. We now have 9 times x plus 2 squared minus 16 times y minus 8 squared equals 144. Now it's time to work on getting a 1. So you see we have a 1 on our standard form. So we need a 1 here. And to get that, we'll divide both sides of the equation by 141. Oh, 144. I don't know why I wrote 141 there. Okay, 144. So that gives us x plus 2 squared over 16 minus y minus 8 squared over 9 equals 1. Well, it's time to graph these, and we'll be graphing them with a center at negative 2, positive 8. The first term gives us points on the graph. So the 16 tells us that we move 4 units left and right, the horizontal or x directions, for points on the graph. So let's go ahead and put our center, negative 2, 8, and then 2 points on the graph, 4 units to the left and 4 units to the right. I'll actually start a little of my graph going. Whoops, that was 2 units. Okay, so 4 units to the left of the center and 4 units to the right of the center. Oh, it disappeared. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Okay, and then the 9 under the y minus 8 squared, that tells us that we can have a rectangle, 3 up and 3 down the y direction. We have points on a rectangle. That helps us draw. So 3 up from the center, 3 down from the center, and now I'll draw a rectangle through all these 4 points. So we have a rectangle drawn through those 4 points, and now we can go ahead and draw asymptotes by extending the diagonals of the rectangle. So we can go ahead and draw the graph of the hyperbola approaching those asymptotes then. So that's our hyperbola. The first set of points, this time it was the x that came first, gives you actually points on the graph, and then the term that's being subtracted gives you rectangular points to help you in your sketch, but they don't actually create points that lie on the graph.